Maximillionaire here, and this video is entitled The Tao of Bao. Now, one of the main focuses of my channel is to get the story behind the story. I'm an investigative reporter, and I like to get into the details and do follow-up videos to find out what happens down the road. Now, this is to give a little bit of background and a kind of a Reader's Digest condensed story about Bao and how he has ended up in jail and where things stand at this point. To go back, originally, first I should tell you that the name Clash with Bao has nothing to do with activism. As a matter of fact, Clash is a video game, and Bao was a video gamer, and he would play Clash. And like many other people, he didn't know about this First Amendment auditing community or the police activist accountability activism and that sort of thing until he happened to get wrapped up in a court case himself. In November of 2017, he received some sort of a citation. I don't know what for. This will be the subject of another video. He got pulled into court, and this was in front of Judge Cheryl Hardy. And I'm sure you've heard her name mentioned quite a few times by the activists because Cheryl Hardy would not listen or answer the questions that Bao had when he was being up in front of her. She forced an attorney on him when he said he did not wish an attorney. And then when he refused to go out in the hallway and talk to that attorney and told him that he didn't want him to represent him, the attorney went over and whispered something to Judge Cheryl Hardy. And after conferring for a moment, Judge Cheryl Hardy decided to throw Bao in jail for a psychiatric evaluation. So Bao had all of his clothes removed from him, and he was put into a Velcro outfit, and he was placed in jail for 13 days for a psychiatric evaluation. When he was let out, he wasn't even given his clothes back. They claimed to have lost them. So he was let go in just this blanket with Velcro on it, covering his naked body, and that's it. Bao started getting more interested in what was going on with our justice system and what was going on with the police and accountability. More interested in the government, and wrote a letter to the county commissioners about his experience. Now flash forward to April the 24th, a Tuesday. Ethics Instead and Bao went to a Crowley court hearing. This is a little town municipal court that only meets once a week on Tuesdays and has a person that they call a judge that is actually just a local attorney. Her name is Darla Peavy. She's actually a family law attorney, but once a week she dons a black dress and wields a gavel and holds court in the city of Crowley. They wanted to record this hearing with, I don't know who got the ticket, somebody got a ticket, and they wanted to record the proceedings. These are supposed to be public proceedings. When they were in their recording, the court had a problem with that. The bailiff didn't like it, and neither did the city clerk. Although there was no court rules at this time that recording was prohibited or electronic devices were prohibited, so what they did is they found another rule. It just so happens that at this time, across the hallway, they were holding an election. And they dug up the law that said you can't film or audio record within 100 feet of an election. And even though they were across the hall and behind closed doors and recording inside of a different room altogether, they were technically within 100 feet. Here's a little video clip of Josh White talking about this rule and how it has to be enforced to the letter of the law.
Here's the deal. I don't make legal determinations because I'm not a lawyer, okay? What I go by is the people that are voted in, that make the statutes for this state, say that we want these to be statutes. At which point in time, once I'm sworn in as a peace officer, it's to enforce the statutes. Whether I like them or not, whether I believe in them or not, I believe in enough that we have a process for a reason. As somebody that dealt with UCMJ as well, I'm fully aware of that side of the coin too. But here's where the kicker comes in. Because the people that were elected made the statute that said during an election process, you are not allowed to visually or audio record within 100 feet of a polling place, which is what is right across the hall, well within 100 feet. It doesn't say if there are walls that separate you or if you're in a different part of the building.
Now, notice in that video that Josh White spoke specifically about the letter of the law. It wasn't about the spirit. It wasn't about what was meant. He said, no, it says 100 feet, and we got to go by exactly what the law says. It says 100 feet, and by gosh, we're going to go with 100 feet. I don't care if you're behind closed doors or across hallways or even on private property somewhere, but if you're within 100 feet, you can't even record. Say you live next door to the polling place and you're recording in your own living room. Nope, that's against the law because the letter of the law says 100 feet.
You can be seated. Anyone with a electronic device currently on will be held in contempt of court.
Darla, is your bond going to be able to catch that order?
That's not a proper way to address the judge. Josh, can you remove him from the court?
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you nicely. Please go ahead and step on out.
Well, Bao and Ethics instead ended up under threat of violence, leaving the courtroom, and they had a discussion with Detective Josh White outside. And I just want to play this little clip of what he had to say about what his job is.
Well, it's not like all of you are out solving cold case files of only violent crimes with victims.
Actually, that's kind of what I do, and that's kind of what our division does. So,
Well, it's not like all of you are out solving cold case files of only violent crimes with victims.
actually, that's kind of what I do, and that's kind of what our division does. So,
Now, remember what he said, both cases, both about the letter of the law and about the fact that their focus for his unit is to protect and investigate violent crimes with victims and things like murders and rapes and robberies and the big crimes. This is what the detective department does. They go after the big evil criminals, right? We're going to bring that up a little bit later.